my apologies, gang. It's all on me, innit? It's all on me this morning. Here we are for the first episode of Under the Lens, and I'm late. Black man time, whatever you want to call it, Mrs. But anyway, enough of the rubbish, enough of the apologies. Got a very special guest with me this morning, man like Shane Gooner. So welcome, thank you so much for coming on the platform. I hope you're well this morning. And again, Shane, I apologize. You've had to wake me up this morning. Imagine that. So how you doing first and foremost, mate?
All good, man. All good. Yeah, not a bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, dropped the kids to school this morning and got home and did a bit of work, and now, ready to talk some football with yourself.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, you know what? That would usually be my job as well, but like I said, because I've just done the Wembley job, that was like 3.5 days work. There was literally 5 of us doing it, over 40,000 flags. I've been absolutely knackered, and I've also got the England job coming up as well, 21st of March. I think it's Latvia, and then I think we've got Albania on the 24th as well. So absolutely cream crackered. Had a late night last night. But anyway, here we are. Thank you so much for joining me. And for anyone that's going to see this on playback, make sure you're going to subscribe to Shane Gooner right now. New on YouTube. I watched a couple of his videos. Follow him on Instagram. Seen him on with some good people. Aaron Talks Football and I think it's what's his name? Gun Down UK. I should know. What's his real name? I should. Anyway, him. Good people. I got some stuff coming up with them, and yeah, I wanted to do a little under the lens. I just wanted to know, kind of like just your outlook on the team, Shane. Just just what's going on. How long you might have supported the club. What's your personal outlook on what's going on with the team, with the board. With the general direction of the club. Just your general thoughts, my guy. What's your outlook on the club?
Well, yeah, supported them as long as I can remember. In Ireland now, the majority of people support United and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of, in my age group, a lot of Villa fans, because of in the sort of early 90s, there was a rake of Irish players that played for them, Ray Houghton and Andy Townsend and Paul McGrath, the like. But yeah, Arsenal through and through. I've always, been a passionate fan. I think if we're going down this road of wanting to meet like-minded people on YouTube and things like that, we are the more passionate fans. But right at this moment, it's one of the lowest I've been in a long time as an Arsenal fan. It's one of the lowest I've been, and mainly because we seem to be the minority, despite how bad things are, and we're the minority that, I don't know what it is, if it's the new generation or if it's the old generation or who it is that seems to think it's okay to accept second all the time and terrible football, and things are only getting worse. That's the scary part. If people are talking about this war chest in the summer, 300 million this and 300 million that, we were already about 5 players short this year, and we're going to lose about another 5. We're going to lose the likes of Zinchenko and Tierney, and Kivior will probably go, and it looks like Partey will go, and Jorginho's going. So even if we had 300 million, we have to sign about 10 players. If we want to do okay. So this Isak talk and all that nonsense, there's no way we're getting him. To me, that's leaked by Arsenal. Rumors like that are leaked, so we go, ooh, you never know, and we take a step back. But watching that Chelsea game, that's the least interested I've been in a long, long time watching a match. It was so bad, and
it's awful. Yeah.
To me, it reminded me of 2 mid-table teams on the last day of the season with nothing to play for, and they're just popping the ball about. And as Aaron pointed out on his show last, or the night before last, I think, between Arsenal and Chelsea, they spent about 2.5 billion, and we had Marino up front, and they had Neto up front. It's just a shambles now at this stage, and it's only going to get worse if we do have this money. The only hope we have is that Berta has almost full control on the transfers, because if we get in another rake of Arteta players, we're done. If we spend this war chest, we won't get another one for about 3 or 4 years. So we're going to go even further backwards, and it's going to be, even longer. And we had that Newcastle game at the weekend, and I was delighted for them, absolutely delighted for them. I think all neutrals were delighted for them. But, they didn't just beat us in the semis; they rolled over us in that
Dog
semi.
walk.
They
Yep.
out tactics us. Everything that, and Arteta just stands there clueless, absolutely
Clear.
clueless on the sideline. This thing with your man Butler Odoaji, and we all know that it's just out of spite he's not playing him. There's no other reason not to play him against PSV. Is he
Mm.
afraid that he'll score and then pressure will come on him to play him? Against Forest, straight after saying, "Oh, over my dead body, we're giving up on this league." He locked up with 5 minutes left. He locked up for the draw. That was
Locked up.
admitting that. That's admitting that you're giving up on the league. Throw the kid on. You remember
Mm.
Fran Makeda for United? He scored a winner against Villa. He never
Yeah.
did. He was dirt. He never did anything again. But you just
Pretty
don't
sure
know
he
when
scored
these players come.
against us as well. I'm pretty sure he scored against us at one point as well, Makeda. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
I remember him.
yeah. But he
Yeah.
went on to do nothing, and you just don't know. Throw these kids on, and then something could happen. But he's given up on that league, and he's more interested now in second, so he can say, "Oh, we haven't gone backwards. We're still moving forward." Like it's
Trying.
why he played an almost full team against PSV. It was just so he can say, we haven't lost in 8 European games. Even though if we had lost 1-0, we still would have gone through. We were 7-1 up, and he could have rested Rice and he could have rested Gabriel. Rice got booked. If he gets booked now in the first leg against Madrid, he misses the Bernabeu.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insanity.
Yeah.
Absolute insanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, listen, everything you just said there, you probably watch my shows. I'm in 100%
Oh, yeah.
agreement with, this guy for me is just not very competent. Like, you're forever making the wrong choices. Do you know what I mean? And especially when the team's dropping like flies, and I've heard loads of other content creators saying it. The January window is like a get out of jail card. It's like an emergency window. If you've done all of your work in summer, you don't need to then go and do any work in January. It's literally, unless you're in a position like we are and having all of our players dropping like flies, we need help. So for me, the way I look at it is, obviously I'm about to be 41 next year. I've been supporting Arsenal in my own right since 1994. Obviously before that with my dad, rest his soul, and he was also a Celtic fan as well. And he was saying to me a couple of years before he died, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to see a Champions League, son. And you know how that made me feel? Then when he did die, I was trying to spread his ashes at the Emirates. Do you think they'd even let me? It's so the club that me and you have supported, the club that me and you fell in love with over the years, and given all of our time, effort, emotions, everything too, it's not that same club anymore. So that's why I asked, when I'm doing this under the lens, I just want to know everyone's, where they are at with this club, because this divide, I don't know if you remember, bro, like when we had Arsene Wenger, there was people fighting on the concourse. I was there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there was actually people fighting. And there's one guy that comes into my shows called Nathan, and he's like, no, it's brilliant at the ground now. Because I stopped going, bro. 2008, I stopped going. I gave up my ticket. I couldn't afford it anymore. Yeah, stop going. I don't recognize this club anymore. So no, totally agree with what you said. Let me know from you, bro. What do you think? What do you think needs to happen for any change? For us Arsenal fans that just want to see the club win. We want to see us, do better. We make so much money, What do you think? Do you think it's gonna change, first and foremost? And then secondly, what do you think we're gonna need to do, maybe as a fan base, as a club? Like, how can we change the trajectory of where we're going, bro?
Well, for me, getting rid of him is the only way. It's the only way forward, because people are talking about getting such and such a player and getting this and that player. If we had Haaland up front, it wouldn't matter, because it's just sideways passing and it's the same tactics, and it's being unable to break down a low block. Getting him out is the only way. But like you said, what can be done? I just don't see it happening. Maybe Berta's come in to pile the pressure on him so much that he walks because he's on so much money. He's got 3 years of 15 million a year. He ain't walking in my eyes, but because he's too narcissistic. A person like that, there's no telling him. He believes his own hype, and I think he genuinely believes it. I don't think it's an act. I think he genuinely believes that he's a genius and that he's done this and he's done that. And when you talk to the Arteta fanboys, they just repeat the same 3 or 4 points that he makes. These made up things like, oh, I've won 3 trophies, like 2 of them were Community Shields. That's embarrassing for us as fans when he says that. I got my inbox was on WhatsApp was just overloaded with people going, and they say it like you said it. Oh, you fucking idiot, you know.
Yeah,
No, I didn't say it, you know. And then when he blames the ball, and but he comes up with these, you know, this top 18 thing, or sorry, the top 6 things annoying me. We haven't lost in 19 games against them. You know, we've drawn 8 of them. And when it mattered as well, like we had City 0 all last season away from home on the ropes. And Gary Neville, who I don't always agree with what he says, he's okay sometimes. He said that was the time to beat them. We had them on the ropes. Rodri came out and said that's loser mentality, and he was right.
Right.
You know, Arteta sat back at 0-0. We celebrated the draw like a win, and we lost the league by 2 points. You know, under Wenger, 2002, we went to Old Trafford and we won there. You know, when we needed it, and he had Henry out, and he had Bergkamp out, and he had all these players out, and he didn't whinge about it. He just got on with it and won. You know, when Arteta's making, I hate when he makes excuses before the game, because that breeds into the changing room, and all the lads are like, ugh. You know, when you start making excuses before something, you know it's going to go wrong. You know it's going to go wrong, and he comes up with these silly stats like the most points in a calendar year. That means absolutely nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing. And he doesn't mention that in that calendar year, 2 days before that year started, we lost to Fulham. And 3 days before that, we lost to West Ham in the last season, right? So right before December. So we had lost the league. So a few days later, we went on this run. But it was too little too late, as always. Too little too late. If we get a striker in the summer, too little too late. We should have had one 5 years ago when you ran Aubameyang out of the club. When you got rid of him because he was late, you know, or because it was nothing to do. Well, while those players, Guendouzi and Ozil and all those lads were winning him that FA Cup, he already had it in his head, I'm getting rid of these lads. Because they're too big. Tierney, what on earth could Kieran Tierney? Kieran Tierney seems like the nicest, most down-to-earth man on the planet. That's a captain.
That's a conundrum to me. Honestly, it really is. And apparently, Lee Gunner brought up a stat. I haven't checked it for myself, so don't quote me on it. But he was saying out of the kind of left backs and defenders that we've got, he's actually played the most minutes out of them. Imagine that. So that one's one that really baffles me. I mean, he's still our best left back at the club. I've got no idea. I mean, you know, but great answer as usual. What do you? Because this is what I've been trying to tell people. I think that we're like prolific overachievers. That's what I really think. You know, I was old enough to be around when George Graham was managing the team. That was like the first manager that I obviously took. I think Bruce Rioch was before him, but I was too young. You know, I know about Herbert and some of the history and stuff, but I was too young. George Graham. Then we had this genius come over from Grampus 8 that changed the whole game, changed football in England. You know, challenged probably the best, you know, Premiership manager in Premier League history, in my opinion. Yeah, and we ran this guy out after 20 odd years, and his last 5 years were more successful than what we're seeing now. But yet, for some reason, Shane, this Lego head seems to have a whole cult behind him at this club. This is why. You know, and I'm not even just trying to put people down when I say these things. You know, Lee says, you know, they're born in buffer deficit, all that. I'm not even trying to do it. I really just want to understand, because it was a lot of these same fans that was there with us. You know, there was how many? 10,000 empty seats at the Emirates. You know, before Arsene Wenger actually finally, you know, before the Cronkies finally saw that we need to do something here. You know, so. That's the thing, Shane, that really gets me at the moment. It's like, what are you seeing that I'm really not? Because I'm used to growing up where we've had players in each position cover. Even at left back, when we got rid of Cole, we had Santos, we had Monreal, we had Kieran Gibbs. You know, we've had strikers. Nwankwo Kanu, Wiltord, Henry, Bergkamp. We've always had strikers, whether you think they're well beaters or not. We've always had, you know, players in each position. So to come from, you know, Wenger ball and people comparing us to Barca, and that was in my day when I was in school. My school life was great. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, so to come from that and to come all the way to this, as you said, you know, this guy's in the wrong job. I personally think he should be a politician. You know, I never wanted him at the club. I never wanted him at the club, my bro. But you know, the last couple of years, he even had me believing a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You know, when I saw the trophy at the Emirates, I'm like, fucking hell, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we might have a chance here. So it even got me believing. But I'm one of those people that fully believe. I don't know if you've seen what is it, Delirious, the Eddie Murphy comedy, the What Have You Done For Me Lately? That's
yeah.
That's football for me now. It's not how it was, where you can all kind of be sentimental and it's kind of like lads getting together and having a sing song, and it's not like that anymore. I think it's moved too forward. There's too much money in it now. So I'd also just like to get your, your kind of view, your outlook on why do you think this guy has got so much backing like that? Because I can't understand it, Shane. I'm looking at it. I'm baffled, my bro. Like, please, I mean, if you've got any kind of outlook on that, why do you think they follow him like this?
It boggles the mind, really, and you just hit on so many points there that are just exactly what I think. You know, the whole Wenger thing. Like, the first video I ever did, I opened by saying I was firmly on that man should only ever leave Arsenal when he wants to. I never wanted him out. Granted, we were losing to big teams and getting hammered now and then, but like you said, we won 3 FA Cups in his last 5 years. People seem to forget that. They seem to forget, and the crowd were vehemently against him. They were awful to him, right? And to me, that was the younger crowd were coming in, and then they wanted him out, right? But now it seems like the younger crowd are the ones that want Arteta in. You know, it seems to me like, because the older people are like, no, this guy's not good enough. He's a fraud. We can see through him. You know, and I'm glad as well that you said that, you know, about it being cult-like, because to me, the people that follow him, they are cult-like. They, like I said, they just repeat the stuff that he spits, the silly stats he gives in press conferences, and they say, oh, you know, we haven't lost to the top 6. And I saw someone put a stat up recently that had, like, you know, before Arteta came, you know, there was 26 losses or something against the top 6, right? In whatever amount of years. But in little small print was away from home. You know what I mean? Like, they put up these stats next to his, and they're not fair stats. You know, they're just tilted to suit the person who's putting them up, just the way Arteta tilts. You know, and Arsenal, I've said this before as well, they must have a pit bull of a press officer, because whenever he does a press conference, there's no one allowed to ask him challenging questions. Nobody asks him what the fans want to hear. They never ask him.
Never.
You know, they'll mention a striker and he'll do that. He thinks he's like a philosopher the way he's tying him up in knots, but he's not. He's just talking absolute nonsense, like
Gibberish. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people said for sorry, I'll let you carry on in a second. A lot of people said for Unai Emery as well. Oh, we couldn't understand him, you know, things like. And I'm like, bro, I'm listening to this guy's press conferences, and I don't understand him. You know, a simple question, a yes or no answer, you're going around the houses. But when it's something that he wants to answer, it's very easy. It's very simple.
Very easy.
This is why I'm saying, as you said, great point. He is a narcissist. I think even when he was a player, even when he played for us, he was our captain. He was never any good. I feel like this team is a reflection of him as a player, pragmatic, you know, more scared to lose than they're kind of G'd up to win. And I think I think this is the year of the truth. I think it's all coming home to roost. You know, you've had, because I don't know any other big team with the infrastructure and everything behind us that we have, the fan base. And when do you ever know a manager to be able to come and do work experience, like live on the job, you know, live on the job? And I think it comes down to the owners as well. They don't want someone big like a Conte or a Ancelotti, or someone that's going to say, you know, I want some money, or they're not giving me any money, you know, things like that. So I think these two are kind of like a match made in heaven. But that also is a good segue onto the Berta stuff. I wanted to ask you about that. You know, do you think that this guy's going to be a yes man? Do you think it's more of a sign from the club that, you know, we might be willing to look beyond this guy if necessary? Because it's been 5 years now. As you said, the 2 plates, when he mentioned those, my God, I like, if the world could have swallowed me up then, I would have just been like, just do it. Do you know what I mean? Because so embarrassing. It's like, to be an Arsenal fan, it feels like, without sounding like the victim again, it feels worse, because it's like, it's not just all of the laughable things that the club do, but it's the fan base as well. And I generally think it's the younger lot as well, like the people that's just 20, 21. But anyway, sorry, I wanted to ask you about Berta. I wanted to ask you, you know, what you think it might mean for the club, what you think it might mean for the Lego man himself.
Everybody's talking about Berta, you know, that he's just, you know, he's going to come in, he's going to rip things up, but because he worked with Simeone. But, you know, we don't know if Simeone was bullying him or not. You know what I mean? To me, the fact that he was there for 13 years makes me think that maybe they never came up against each other. I don't know. You know, I hope not. I hope that the Kroenkes have gone, this Arteta lad's getting too big for his boots. We need to bring someone in to put him in check, because right now, Arteta's kind of like Odegaard in that there's no repercussions for any mistakes he makes. You know, people are talking about the 750 million spent, which is outrageous that we've spent that much. And people go, oh, you know, the progress. You know, if Wenger had been given that money, he was not. Second half, people forget that the second half of Wenger's reign, he was going to leave when they treated David Dean like shit and got rid of him. They didn't even give the chap a week to leave. They came into his office and told him. And Wenger said, I'll leave with you. And he said, no, you stay. Arsenal wouldn't have got the loan for the Emirates. The bank said, unless Arsene Wenger agrees to sign that he'll stay for 5 years, they wouldn't give the loan because they knew he'd get Champions League. He was told, get Champions League 3 out of the 5 years after we get this loan and we won't go under. He got it 5 years out of 5, right? Wow. We're having to sell his best player every single summer.
I remember.
Sometimes 2 or 3. He had the summer with Nasri left and he got rid of all these players in the same summer. He was made to sell these players and he never came out. People said, oh yeah, he was just a shield for the board. You're damn right he was. He was a shield. Because if the Arsenal fans had known what was going on, we would have been crapping it because we'd be thinking this club could go under. You know, that's how bad things were. So they took a real gamble and all on him. He bought the training ground. He got it with the Anelka money and then bought a training ground and Henry. All these things that made us a global team. And then the fans turned on him like that. I used to feel sick watching it. I felt sick watching it. I thought, you know, even if we finish 8 or 9, you know, he's getting old now. And look what's happened since, really. Like, nothing's happened since. Yeah. If he had been given that money, they were ready finally after him spending 10 years saving this club. And people said, oh, it's only Champions League. Now it's suddenly okay just to get Champions League.
Now it's...
When Wenger was doing it with a shoestring budget,
mm-hmm.
you know, with a shoestring budget, having to sell his best players and play the kids and all that. And people say Arteta plays the kids. He only plays them when his back's to the wall. That's it. There's no other reason. You know, Skelly would not. Skelly's playing at left back just because he's left footed.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Ranieri should have come in when Odegaard was out. We all saw it.
Oh
Everybody saw it.
Oh my God!
Didn't play him.
Yeah.
Locked up. Like you said, it was a brilliant point that the way he manages is a reflection of him as a player. Give the easy pass.
Yeah.
Don't make mistakes. Don't put the spotlight on me unless things are going well. You know, and. To me, you know, I hope Berta comes in and I hope Berta is there to just pile the pressure on him. I thought that maybe that walking out of the interview was pressure starting and I was hoping it was. And I hate when my team's in this position where you're not with the whole project. Like you said, I got fooled in that 2022-23 season when we took off but a lot of people seem to realise or don't seem to realise that we were expected to get 5th, maybe 4th that summer, right? We took off like a house on fire, caught everybody by surprise, everybody, until about 3/4 of the way into the season. And Everton sacked the manager and Sean Dyche came in. His first game was against us and he played a low block and we were done. We lost 1-0. So once teams copped onto us, they went, right, low block. And I kind of went, oh, what's this thing? How do I break that down? It always amazes me that he struggles with blocks when he's made a fucking Lego. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you know what I'm saying? This whole time, 5 years, and he still can't work out the low block. So, no, so do you, because you're absolutely right. And you know what, Shane? I did, big up everyone inside. Big up Gary, don't waste a tweet. Big up Hyper Protagonist. Big up my bro, Benjamin, Into the Box YouTube. You guys make sure you're going to subscribe to Shane Gooner now. Make sure you're showing some love over here, and the Playback Gang as well, and like the video as well. But that's no brilliant point, Shane. And to be fair with you, mate, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You know, I didn't know. I mean, I obviously knew that there was problems with David Dean because I knew he wanted, was it Ushmanov or you know the other geezer, and we've never been the same. He was the last football guy. He was almost like the Highlander at the club. You know, there can only be one. When he went, that was it. Like, you know, Wenger was struggling, our transfers were struggling, you know, and that was a major miss. But that's something that I didn't know at the time, mate. I didn't know that they were trying to get rid of him first, and that Wenger would have gone if Dean went, and you know he had the ultimatum of the Champions League. There are things that we don't know, and as you said, because he was the mouthpiece, he protected the club. You know. Some people's trying to say that that's what Arteta's doing, but I do not look at it in the same way. I do not think that this guy's got the same kind of pressure as Wenger, running the club from top to bottom, having all of that kind of stuff going on in the background that I didn't know. I didn't know it. Like today, what is it? 11:45 today o'clock is when I knew that Arteta could have, Arsene Wenger could have left with David Dean, and he was protecting Dean and protecting the club, things like that. So there's lots of things that you don't know. In a few years' time, when if this Lego man ever leaves the club, and we find out what's gone on, I very much doubt we're going to hear that he was protecting the club in the same way when he was. Very much doubt that. That's a great point. Big up Aaron Talks Arsenal as well. Big up, bro. Hope you're well. Thank you for passing through. Yeah, no, great points, my bro. Great points. And I did want to know, because that's what I thought as well, going back to the Berta thing. I'm like, he's been there for so long. Simeone is a big character, but you know, maybe it isn't like that. Maybe it just isn't like that. Maybe they don't come across each other. Maybe their jobs are very much separate. Do you know what I mean? You just do the transfers, I do the coaching, that sort of thing. So I am interested to see what he can do, because I feel a little bit more confident when you've got Berta ringing up someone rather than Edu, for instance. But I always said, I mean, these two guys were novices together. They came in together. The fact that he just left like that, I know that there's going to be things that come out in a few years' time that should shed some light on this situation. Because some people want to blame the board, Shane. They want to say, they've given the money, or maybe they've not supported him enough. I mean, what's your thoughts on the board? That's another segue. I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that they've supported this guy enough, or do you think that this year they've said, you spent too much money, mate, like, we're gonna have to try again next year? Or what's your thoughts on the board?
The board, we all know, I struggle to find many clubs that like their board anyway. It's very easy to turn on them, but 750 million in 5 years, they haven't been tight. And people act like they've completely strangled them. They haven't been tight, and they gave him 80 odd million or 100 million, whatever it was, last summer. They didn't say to him, go out and sign Calafiori and Marino. They didn't. He could have gone and got Gyökeres. He could have got his release clause. So these are his decisions, and I think that's why Edu left. I think if you've ever dealt with a narcissist, it's impossible. It's impossible to talk to them. You can't get through to them because in their head, every decision they make is right. Everything they say is right. Everything. So I think Edu just went, I can't deal with this lad anymore. I cannot deal with him anymore. You can see it in that Arsenal documentary when Arteta was getting rid of Aubameyang. You could see Edu didn't want to. He didn't want to do it, but he's sitting there and, oh God, I have to back him and I have to do this and I have to do that. The board are the board. They're not the best board in the world, but they're not as bad as people say. And if you ran a business and you had a manager, again, a novice, like you said, who lets someone get their work experience? What big club lets a manager? When Tottenham gave Tim Sherwood the job, we all laughed our arse off, But they went 6 months later. They went, "Oh God, we made a mistake," and they fucked them off. Excuse my language, but we didn't. We kept him, and he should have gone before that 2022-23 season when we went off on one. He should have been gone long before that, and I wanted him out then. And then, like you, he tricked me, and I thought, "Oh, great!" And the feel good factor came back, but the feel good factor was mainly because of Smith Rowe and Saka. They're one of our own. And Aubameyang, and I remember we beat Tottenham 3-0, and Aubameyang scored, Smith Rowe scored, and Saka scored. And it was in the sun, and we were playing electric football, and we thought, okay, maybe there's something here. But we didn't know that he was planning on shipping out Aubameyang, that he was planning on shipping out Smith Rowe, and that he was planning on flogging Saka to the point where he's going to ruin that guy's career, right?
Yeah.
So these are all things that he had in his hands, and people talk about the 750 million. You also have to take into account, and I said this the other night, that he's been gifted about 350 million worth of talent from Hale End. If you put in Nwaneri, Saka, Smith Rowe, Lewis Skelly, all those lads, he's been gifted these, and not since the class of '92 with United, with Neville and all coming through, has there been a bunch. And this is taking Barcelona out of the picture, of course, because they just produced them, But for 4 players in the space of 3 or 4 years to come through, 5 players, sorry, to come through, that are all world beaters or potentially world beaters. And he's let one of them go. He's changed Lewis Skelly's position for no other reason than he was stuck because of all the left backs he signed of being garbage.
Garbage, yeah.
He changed his position. Saka, as Aaron had pointed out before, he used to take on 3 or 4 players, smash it in. Now he's robotic, cut inside, cross, cut inside, shoot.
Yeah.
Track back all the time. He walked in with Martinelli there. He signed all these left backs when we already had Tierney. He signed all these goalkeepers when we already had Martinez, a World Cup winner, a World Cup winning goalkeeper.
I can't believe that. Anyway, sorry, go on. Sorry.
But the problem with Martinez is He's strong character. He's strong character. He'll
Yeah.
tell him to go fuck himself if he's wrong. You
Yeah,
know,
as well. Yeah.
Tierney, the fans liked him. Don't want him. Can't have someone more popular than me. You know, Ozil. Oh yeah, he doesn't track back, so he shouldn't. You don't make your most rated player track back.
Do you see?
Salah
Do
doesn't
you
track
see
back.
Real Madrid tracking back in their games? Do you know what I mean? You know, yeah. Oh, so there he goes. There he goes. We're getting back in, guys. Shane was absolutely
There you
cooking.
go.
Carry on, my bro. You're cooking, bro. Carry on, man.
So you know, when you Salah, people were saying about, oh, you know, Liverpool being lucky. Salah hasn't got injured. He's not forced. He's not flogged to track back all the time. He will track back when he needs to, but he doesn't have to just constantly do it. And you know, you look at all the great teams in the world. You know, the Argentinian team at Maradona and all. He was told, do what you want, track back when you want, and he still track back. He'll
Yeah,
track back
he
because he's a winner.
Yeah.
But you don't. Like, did Barcelona make Messi track back?
No.
In fact, Guardiola was insistent that he didn't. He
Insistent.
insisted that he didn't. He said, you save your energy for when you're attacking, when you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Save your energy.
Save your energy.
You know? And I'm not saying we should just
Brilliant.
never track back.
Brilliant.
You know, but you don't need all 11 players.
No, you're
locking up every single time. If you're at home to Southampton, you don't need two holding midfielders, and you don't need to lock up every time. You need to go 4-0 up after 20 minutes the way Wenger used it. You need to smash them.
Cooking. You are cooking today, bro. And that brings me on to my next segment as well, because this is what I wanted to talk to you about and get your thoughts. This is what I'm asking everyone, because I feel like this stupid tiki-taka, let's all follow Pep football is done now. I honestly do. This whole inverting thing, I honestly think it's done. And obviously you've just been cooking there talking about the system. I think it's asking way too much of these players. That's why Martinelli's guaranteed a spot in this team, because he tracks back a whole lot more than Trossard, you know. And I think it's these, he said it himself the other day, like 70% is like running back, like recovery runs. Why do you think the hamstrings are hanging off the bone like Toby Carvery, bro? Exactly. Absolutely cooking. Just before we go on, just bigger Aaron talks football again. He's saying mega waste of money in the transfers. Absolutely. Over 30 players, bro, and not even 10 of them are a success. I think that speaks for itself. Big up, don't waste a tweet. He's saying subscribe to Shane. Big up, man. Big up Gary each and every time. Community settings over here, man. We get everyone back, you know. And we're just out here to try and talk the truth. But this is why we call it Under the Lens, because I really want to get the Arsenal's point of view, whatever team you support. Because we're going to talk about the board as well, because it's something that I've said a million times over. It's like the Spider-Man meme. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Shane. You know, when they're all pointing at each other, yeah, and they want to know who's done it. And that's how I was looking at this season, because this should have been the third time lucky season. It really should have. How do you come twice second and then think you don't have to do anything in the third season? It's just going to fall into your lap. So I was already baffled by that. But then I'm starting to listen. I'm thinking, right, cool. Let me just strip everything back. Who can I really point the fingers at? And I do think it's a joint effort, but this season particularly, it's Mikel Pulis, bro. This season it's him. As you said, the same teams are taking points off us: West Ham, Fulham, Everton, Aston Villa. You know, Fulham. We played Fulham and Everton. I'm pretty sure it was back to back this season, or maybe one game in between it. I think there were 2 draws as well. You know, one of them was at the Emirates. I'm pretty sure it was against, was it Fulham or Everton? One of them anyway.
Everton 0-0 at the Emirates.
Yeah. Dyche again with the bloody low block. He still hasn't figured that out after 5 years. And it's the same teams taking. And when I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, right, we need a goal now. You're whipping off Ethan. You know, you're whipping off a ghost guard. I've never seen the captain stinker and hook so much in my life as well. So that's another question we need to answer. But when I'm saying we need a goal, why are you doing like for like? Well, a simple answer is because we ain't got no attackers. But even still, try and do something different. As you said, you make 15 million a year now. Earn this money. This was the year I'm like, all right, cool. Now you've shot in the middle of the room. Now we have to eat our dinner with shit in the middle of the room, because this is what you've done and the club. And like I said, going back to the whole Spider-Man thing, because I'm looking at the board and I'm saying, all right, cool. Ever since the Cronkies have been here, it's been nearly 20 years. They've not always had full control of the club. You know, we're still not even on their LinkedIn. But regardless of anything like that, they've allowed this guy to spend 750 million pounds of the money that the club makes, by the way, because that's another thing that people need to realize. This isn't their money. This is what the club, but regardless, they've allowed you to spend it. And then this is what we've got to show for it, Shane, in 2025. You know, a CDM up front, you know, a bench full of left backs and Honestly, I cannot believe. So when I'm looking at this and I'm arguing with some of these Arsenal fans and they're telling me, "Oh, it's not Arteta, it's the board." I'm like, well, look, even the board, they've really not been interested in what's going on. They've let this guy, just have power over everything. They've let him run the roost, and now we're seeing what happens when you let a novice run the roost. So, and before I let you come back in, I do agree on the fact that yes, as you said, in a business, the board are the people that runs it all. You're not going to let your manager, tell you when to close the shop, things like that. So, I mean, like I said, they're not the worst board in the world. But when I draw everything back, they've allowed this guy to spend money. They've allowed him to have all the power in the world, get whoever you want to get in, and it's spectacularly backfired now. So that's the reason why I'm saying all of this, is because, like I said, I'm really struggling to understand what people are buying into with this Arteta guy. Because they're willing to say he's got till next season, because the goalposts keep moving as well, Shane. I don't know if you notice, but everyone said at the start of the season he's got to win something, or he's got to go. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm really just trying to tap in on what it is, because, like I said, if you want to draw everything back, he's had money, he's had power. Edu's left, someone else left. Was it Vinay or someone else? People have left, but this guy stayed. What is it to you? Or can you see anything? Can you justify how this guy's got so much power?
No, and you know what? Like when I was talking about the board not being the worst, they're still awful. They're an awful board. Like that LinkedIn thing. I only heard that the other night. That is just staggering. It's staggering. It could take them 20 seconds to update it. But they can't wash their hands of this mess, because, like you said, they keep this guy in employment. They gave him this wage. They back themselves into a corner. They can't wash their hands of it. And it's the same thing. Like it all bleeds down, and it bleeds onto the pitch, and it bleeds all that sort of bad feeling. And we've seen it at other clubs, and it's an awful time when it's like that, and it's it's poisonous and it's toxic, or whatever the most popular word is people want to use now. But people were talking about the sendings off, how many red cards we've had, and it's unfair. But again, that bleeds down from the manager too. Ill discipline bleeds down from the manager. And if you walk into a Tesco and all the staff are rude and horrible, and you go, I want to speak to the manager, he'll be rude and horrible too, because it bleeds down from the manager. If you go in and they're all nice to you and they all do their job well, then he's a strict manager and he knows what he's doing. So this red card thing, the one against West Ham when Lewis Skelly got caught out, it's because he was inverting again. Yeah. And he got caught on his own with the ball. He was inverting. So yeah, the basics of management are beyond this guy. If you've played FIFA or even football, more so Football Manager, right? If you know the basics of football, you know that, right? We're playing at home to Ipswich, right? Let's say Ipswich. They're going to play a low block. They're going to try and counter-attack. Basic football knowledge. Do not start Partey and Rice. Don't start two holding midfielders. Don't wait until the 70th minute to change it. Play Nwaneri and Odegaard as attacking players and one holding midfielder. Play Rice as a holding midfielder. Do not start with the same defensive team and give them no surprises. They're going to lock up. They're going to lock up. So play more players that can unlock when they lock up. It's just basic knowledge. And when the teams are getting named, you know what's going to come out. So the other manager knows what's going to come out. Guardiola will make 2 changes a game, every game. From the first game of the season, he'll do it. And it's for 2 reasons: to surprise the opposition, and because you have to rotate all the way through the season. You have to rest. There's no point resting a player when he's already knackered. There is no point. You rest them from the start, rotate them in, change two players. One in defence, one up front. Mix it up, go, okay, they're right back. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. He doesn't like players running at him. I'll play Martinelli. I won't play Trossard because Martinelli will get at him. Basic football knowledge is beyond this, man.
How long have you been a manager, Shane? How long have you had your badges? Do you know what I mean?
I'm just a regular football fan like us, and we can all see it.
We can all see it. And a great point. I'll let you come back in. Great point you were saying about FIFA, because that's another thing that the top gooners always say. This ain't FIFA, or go and support Spurs. Why would I ever do that? They're fucking worse than we are. Do you know what I mean? If I was a Spurs fan, it would be 10 times worse. But great points, man. Absolutely great points. This guy, for me, he just hasn't got a clue. And we heard about all this 180-page dossiers and laptops and all this crap. Where is it, bro? We know the team that he's going to pick. We literally know it. And we're talking about the youth and a couple of great points you're saying about minute management. He doesn't know how to do it. Why do you not try anything different? Why do you keep playing? You know, you spent 105 million on this guy to play him out of position, and you play three of them across the field in a line. When if anything, we all saw from last season, Rice and Jorginho was the best in the double pivot. Why are you not even doing that? We Wolves are waiting last season. We're desperate to see Rice, Partey, and Odegaard. We want Partey and Rice in double pivot, Odegaard just in front of them to feed both sides. But no, we've got to have a left side, we've got to have a right side, and you're right, he doesn't think. And I want to segue onto the Madrid game in a minute, and get your thoughts on that. But another great point you said, you know, base your team selection on who we're coming up against. For fuck's sake, like we're gonna go to the Bernabeu, Shane, with fucking Earthworm Jim up front, no pace, guaranteed, no pace. You know, no strength. You can't get in behind, as you just said. Prime example. You know, what is it? Different horses for different courses, right? So we're gonna have a relatively gettable Real Madrid defense. Play Martinelli. Give them something to worry about. You know, we're gonna worry about his pace behind, things like that. But he's, as you said, he's not going to do that, bro. We know what on earth this guy's going to do every single game, and I'm like, well, where's all of this preparation you keep talking about? Because everyone keeps giving him credit, bro. You know, when he kept playing Partey at right back, he won one game out of the 8 or 9 games he played there. He won one game, bro. You know, and because it worked once, just like the Moreno thing, you're just gonna stick with it. As you said, narcissistic, stubborn. You know, so stubborn. Stick with it. And yeah, great point. Why do you not try anything different? Why have we not seen Ethan Nwaneri and Odegaard on the same pitch together for any kind of prolonged time? You know,
never been in the middle together. They've never been in the middle together. Not one. Have they been in the middle together?
Once. So some of these things that Arteta was meant to, because remember, this meant to be Participation FC, Vibes FC. You know, we meant to get rid of the toxic, negative players, but you've got rid of all the players, as you said, with a backbone. And any player worth his salt has got a backbone. Aubameyang, we've never replaced him. And as you said, it weren't for being late. We found out years down the line his mother was sick. He was trying to fly his mum back into the country, and Arteta's come up to him and said, "You stabbed me in the back." Like, this guy, he's got a real bad. He's lost it up there, bro. He really has lost it. And for me, yeah, I just feel like it's not even the fact that we're never buying world-class players, this, that, and that. I think that Arteta can't handle world-class players. If we was to ever get one, would he be able to coach them? You know? Not in my opinion. I mean, we're gonna get onto the Real Madrid game in a minute. Let me just big up Gary again. He said he subscribed to you, bro. So wicked. I love to see it. Big up Aaron talks Arsenal again, and half of our promising youngsters starting for United. Yeah, that's another thing, and that's why, you know, especially in this situation that we're in now, with no fucking recognized striker, we've got, as you said, Butler Oyedeji. He's not a kid. He's 22 years old. I'm starting to ask in the group chat, Kenny Ken and all that, you know, is this guy the new mascot? Like, has he forgotten the dinosaur costume? Because he's on the bench every week and he never gets a look in. PSV was a prime opportunity for this guy. I mean, he identifies as the striker, right? So surely he must be better up front than this Moreno guy who, from my eyes, he's only ever good at heading the ball. That's it. I don't know what else he's good at, this guy. I know I've kind of gone around the houses a bit, but you was cooking, man. So many good points, so many good things that we can talk on. But let's go on to the only thing that we've got to look forward to this year, and it's this bloody Champions League game. And look, after the PSV, I'm saying, look, you know, this is probably going to be our final. You know, I don't know what you feel about it. Everyone's like, you know, Tony Claude Gunner, big him up. You know, he's been fighting with everyone recently because he's like, I don't want to go in with a defeatist mentality, which I understand to a degree. But then there's a thin line between defeatist mentality and being realistic, you know. So first and foremost, you know, what's your thoughts on the Champions League? What do you think we can do, if we can do anything, and what do you think we'll need to do?
Well, you see, going in with the defeatist mentality, you made a cracking point the other day. I was watching one of your videos and you said that, you know, we get to do that. But the players better fucking not, because they're paid enough not to go into it. We get to say the league's over because we can be realistic about it. They better give everything to earn that 250 grand a week that half of them are on, you know. But for the Madrid game, Ancelotti's going to be in his office and his scout will come in and say, "Oh, I did some resource first in Arsenal." He'll go, "Don't bother. I know what team they're going to play. I know how they're going to play. I know everything they're going to do." You know, you look at World Cup '98 when Michael Owen burst onto the scene and he tore Argentina apart. You know, one of the most classic moments, not just for England, but in World Cup. Like, let's have it right. You know, why wouldn't Arteta go, right, my back's to the wall, Madrid, I need to catch them by surprise. I'll just play Ranieri in the false 9 and let him just, something magical could happen. Something could happen. This could be the moment where he does that, you know, something that's going to be replayed on Arsenal TV for the next 20 years. He's going to bend one in. He's going to do something. I can play Trossard. You can still get Trossard and Martinelli in then. But he didn't sign Ranieri, so he feels no pressure to play him.
No.
You know,
Great.
I was saying about people are going on about Isak, and I was saying even if we miracles got him, he'd play him out the left or something, and he'd play Havertz up front.
Yeah.
He'd do something to say, look what I did with this guy. He spent 105 million on Rice and he plays him out of position. You know, oh look, well, I'm going to make him an 8. He's a 6. Play him as a 6. Simple as. Don't spend 105 million on someone you're going to mess around with. So the Madrid game, yeah, I don't want to go in with a defeatist attitude, but it's impossible not to.
It's impossible.
Real Madrid, and it's up. It's Ancelotti versus Arteta.
Great point. It's great point, and it's a great point. You said, why does he keep trying to put, you know, was it square pegs in round holes? Like we buy a centre back to play them at left and right back. You know, we buy a 6 to play him at an 8. We buy an 8 to try and experiment. Maybe he's a 9, maybe he's a 10. And as you said, yeah, you know, even if we did get Isak, he would probably fucking flog him out to the left like Aubameyang or something, and still persist to go with this donkey that he's gonna die. He's gonna die on that sword if he's not dead already, in my opinion. Yeah, brilliant. So I mean, what we'll do then is, obviously I've got this bloody, let me try and get this get rid of that quickly, get rid of that. Well, what we're going to do is, because we obviously know what bloody team that this donkey's going to pick for himself, right? But I want to get your team going into this Real Madrid game. Just bear with me, because this thing's moving a bit slow at the minute. I don't know what's going on with it. Display the formation for me, please. There we go. We know he normally plays a 4-3-3. I'm going to share it on the screen. Just bear with me, mate. But yeah, you know, going into this game, I don't want to be defeatist. You know, it's a great point that Tony made. I don't want to be like that. However, you know, how can I feel confident? I can't even feel confident in the selection he's going to make. I can't feel, you know, there's nothing I can feel confident about, my bro. You know, and that's why I just want to kind of get the thoughts from other Arsenal fans. Now, obviously, someone said if you get in the bath or the shower, you're going to get wet. You know, there is a small chance that we can obviously win this game. But you know, this is what I want to do now. I just want to get what team that you would play. I mean, obviously, I'll put the 4-3-3 formation there. Would you change that? Do you reckon?
I would. Yeah.
Okay, fair play. So I'll put Breyer in goal. Let me come back and see if we can't change this formation. I'm pretty sure it's this button. Maybe we can do it down here. So what formation would you like, Shane?
I'd play 2 holding midfielders and Odegaard. I'd play the 3 in the middle, but I'd put it as 2 holding midfielders. I'd drop Rice and Partey back into holding midfield.
Yep. I
totally play Odegaard as an actual 10 and tell him to stop tracking back all the time and picking the ball up from our centre back. Because what's the point in that, you know?
I get it. I think I can actually move them around once I've actually put them in. So this is obviously, and another thing, just before we even do this as well, mate, because I'm really baffled about this, right? I'm pretty sure we were the seeded team in the Champions League, no?
Yeah, but I think it was the seeded teams got home in the round of 16, and then it rotates to
really.
I think so, because the other teams had to play a match before that. But I don't see why they get, you know, as soon as they meet a seeded team, why on earth they get the away leg second. It boggles the mind. I don't understand it at all.
It really, yeah. I'm sitting there thinking, you know, what is the point of us working that hard to kind of be seeded in the first place to just to not getting any advantage from it? You know, that was really. Someone said to me, it's down to the draw. Like if you kind of get drawn first, then you play the first leg at home. But I just don't think that's fair, to be honest with you. But
it makes no sense.
Yeah, but anyway, big up AFC always. He's bigging up myself and Shane. Big up. Make sure you 5 people in the building. Make sure you all go and subscribe to my bro Shane Gooner. We'll be coming back on here again and just started up his channel. So big him up. Yeah, big on Aaron Talks Arsenal as well. Big up. AFC saying 4-2-3-1. No, I know the team, because that's what I was just saying with the double pivot. But what I think I need to do first is put the players in, and then I think I can actually move them around. Yeah, I think I can. So I mean, so this is against Madrid, by the way. First leg at the Emirates. Can I assume that your back four is going to be the usual back four?
Well, I know what he'll do, but for me, it would be possibly Tierney at left back, but that will never happen. But I was thinking that if Ben White is fit, I'd put White at right back.
Okay, fair play. Let's get White in there. Let's get White in there. This is your team, bro. This is your team because this is the reason why I'm just because otherwise, if I was to just do what Arteta's going to do, we can all pick it, and there'll be no point of even doing this. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I know that's taking him away from Vinny Jr., but I think he's got the pace for him, and the only reason that I do that is to put Timber at left back. Stop Rodrigo cutting in.
I was wondering, and this is the conundrum that people have been speaking about. I was listening to Dan Potts yesterday, big up the 12th man, and this is something that we're all worried about. You know, Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, you know, Calafiori.
Yeah, so this is all White fitness dependent, obviously. But if he was fully fit, I'd play that. If not, it would be Timber right back and Tierney left back, but that's never going to happen. Obviously, the two centre backs pick themselves.
Do you know what?
The best centre back pairing in Europe, in my eyes. But
that is a brilliant point that you've just made there with Tierney as well, because right now I don't want Lewis Skelly to ever change his game because I really actually love that aggression.
You can't risk it in this game though.
Right, exactly, because you know, if you're old enough to play in the first team, you're old enough for criticism, in my opinion, and if you're good enough to play, then you're old enough to play. All right, but that's not the issue with me. The issue with me is just managing the minutes. Like, why I know I'm kind of going off topic. Why Skelly didn't start against West Ham? I don't understand that, bro. Like, what did he do wrong?
It's beyond me.
It's beyond me, man. Absolutely beyond me, man. But
I just wouldn't risk him for Madrid just if he got a red card or if he, you know, get the ball away, you know, something like that. And Calafiori doesn't even get a look in because he's a clown.
He's a clown. He can't defend, in my opinion. So I'm glad that you said that. At all. Yeah.
And I'd go with two in the middle. I'd go with Partey and Rice.
Yep. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna put it in, and then I'm gonna see if I can move it around after, because I know exactly what you want, and that's what I would do as well. So you wouldn't even have to change your foot. Because some people have said, big up Mally Talks. He said, oh, you know, put 3 at the back or 5 at the back and wing backs and all this other stuff. I'm saying, look, you don't even need to do that. Just put the double pivot and Odegaard in front of it, and I'm pretty sure it would solve a lot of problems. But what do we know, eh? What do we know?
What do we know?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So let me just get this in, and then I'll change it around in a minute. But yeah, I think I would do this as well, and I think I would play Tierney. That was going to be mine. I would have Timber on the right, and I would have Tierney left. But I do like this. I do like this the same way. Now I think with this, I can press this button, and just move them smoothly. There we go. And this is what we did. This is what we did last season as well for large parts of it. And this is when Rice was cooking, in my opinion.
Yeah.
God's sake, come on.
This is their position. We all know it. Like, but
yeah. You know, this is when they were cooking, even Jorginho. And I was like, look, imagine if we had Partey next to Rice in that double pivot, you know, then you've got Odegaard just in front of them to feed the left and the right. But there you go. All right, top 3, my guy. What would be your Real Madrid selection?
I would go Martinelli on the left, just for the sheer reason that he can get at Valverde as world-class player he is. I think they'll be playing him at right back where he's out of position. And I just think he can be got at. And I think if Martinelli's there, he can run at him. I would go Trossard out the right because he's basically both-footed. I know we could put Wanyeri there and Trossard as a false 9.
Yeah.
But I would put Wanyeri as a false 9 just so he can drop back and almost make it a 4-2-2-2. And the others can come inside.
Yeah.
So Wanyeri then would be able to sort of drift back and play the false 9 just to catch them, and just because they won't be expecting it.
Yeah.
And just the other two then can, when we're attacking, they can come in a bit and make it a 2, and with the other 2 behind them. But I just think that gives more freedom. I tell Trossard, Wanyeri, and Odegaard that they can sort of switch around a bit, and just tell Martinelli, you hug the touchline and you just keep running at Valverde all game, and maybe we'll get something. But I wouldn't have Marino anywhere near the team. I wouldn't have Calafiori anywhere near the team. And that's basically I just think that gives us a bit of freedom and a bit of protection as well.
No, that's brilliant. I actually like that team. I think big up Aaron Talks Arsenal was saying this team's made for it. 4-2-3-1, fair play. And as Shane just said, you know, this is how I would set up. This is personally how I would set up. Maybe 1 or 2 tweaks in the personnel, but this is the shape that I would do 100%. This is what worked for me last season. And as you said, it allows everyone to drop back into the 4-2-2, 4-2-2-2, I should say. But yeah, brilliant. I mean, the only thing I probably change is I probably have Martinelli through the middle, but I'm not mad at Ethan through the middle. I was screaming out for him to be playing there when Odegaard was out earlier in the season, and obviously never got a look in. But yeah, no, I like this. I like this team. I like this team a lot. I mean, big up all the chat. What do you reckon? Big up AFC always. Rice and Party in a double pivot works 100%. Yeah, bro. That for me is our strongest midfield. Like, you know, as of right now. You know, so I think that's brilliant. And I think Martinelli, you know, I definitely, you know, I probably would have played Martinelli through the middle, but either way, I think these three are interchangeable. And they can be a lot more fluid than if we had the Spanish earthworm Jim on. So no, that's brilliant, man. That's exactly the go on.
I don't see Ranieri as a 9 full time. I know I said a hint of that at all. I don't see him. It's literally just for these 2 games. I just want him to get the ball as much as possible. So I want him as a 9, but also dropping back so he can get the ball as much as possible and make something happen, because he's our only spark, really. I like Martinelli, but he's not that spark player, you know. And Odegaard is just he's dead to the world at the moment. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on. I went to bed watching the 22, 23 goals the other night, and I'm just like, you know, now we can't shoot in the condom. I don't, you know, it's a stark difference. And I'm even him and Martinelli, I'm thinking to myself, Jesus, like, what's happened? But I know what's happened. You know, Tapas Pulis has happened, bro. It's his system that's happened. Do you know what I mean? But this is a brilliant team. Let me just have one more look at it before we come off. I think I'd probably, if I didn't go with that, I'd probably have Timber on the right and I would have Kieran Tierney. I think that's a brilliant shout. You know, for me, still our best left back at the club. And only because I want Timber on Vinny, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm not mad.
Now that you say that, actually, even if like White won't be 100%, so yeah, I would. But again, this is the sort of also, I think this is more the best we can hope for from Arteta, because he won't play Tierney. Full stop.
No, he won't at all. So you're absolutely right, and then I think this is, and the logic is sound behind it. I was very happy when White came back, purely because I don't want to see Thomas Partey at right back ever again. So, you know, obviously, yeah, you're absolutely right in terms of fitness. I mean, the couple of cameos he's had since he's come back, and we've conceded, when I'm looking at the goals, I'm kind of seeing him trying to make up the run. He's kind of a little bit behind, so I don't think he's quite on the pace just yet. However, like I said, the logic is very sound. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't want to have Calafiori anywhere near this defense, and we don't want to have Miles Lewis Skelly because he can be very rash. That's just how it is. So no, great. I mean, the only thing I'd change is I'd probably have Timber on the right and Tierney on the left. Everything else I'd probably keep. Maybe have Martinelli through the middle and Trossard back on the left, Ranieri on the right. But I'm not mad at it because, like I said, I feel like this forward line can kind of interchange. It can be very fluid. And brilliant. And of course, this is probably the best that we can do because, you know, we don't really have options on the bench. We don't really have no one else we can bring on. And what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the game? First leg at the Emirates. Do you think it's going to be a whitewash, my bro? What do you reckon?
If Madrid score early, we're done. If they score early, we are absolutely done. If we get them in a half time at 0-0, I don't know. People saying, "Oh, we can nick a set piece goal or whatever," but we still have to go to the Bernabeu. Like, you know, that's, you know, I don't know. The thing is, even if miracle of miracles, we somehow nicked it 1-0 at the Emirates and then just locked up like we did against City, and you know, got a 0 draw and got through. This is Mikel Arteta. We just go out in the next round. We go out once we got someone weaker. I mean, that's if we got PSG, people go, "Oh, we played them off the park at the Emirates this season," and that would be our downfall. We'd go into it like we did Newcastle in the semis and get steamrolled, and we'd definitely lose to Villa. I know we'd go out to Villa if we got them. The whole Emery thing, he's got his number. He's a European master, you know, and
yeah, so, just like how they seem to have his number, they know it off by heart.
They know it. They know just low block counter attack, and you've got them. You know, simple as that.
Yeah.
So look, you know, I'd like to see us give them a go. I'd like to see it, but Arteta's already got the script written. If we lose by 1 goal or so, it's a great journey, and we battled, and we, you know, this thing he does in press conferences really gets to me when he talks about United or Bayern or any of these. He talked about Bayern when we went out to them last season. He always goes on about their history, which means when you play them, it means absolutely nothing. He goes, of Man United with their history as well. And like I was looking at him going, I don't see Roy Keane on the pitch, and I
No,
don't see George Best on the pitch.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see bloody Hoyland and all these other gimps.
Oh,
You know what I
Nash,
mean? So,
yeah.
and he did it with, but that was the worst Bayern team of the last 30 years that we went out to. They were
Great
awful
playing.
last year, right?
Yeah, great
Awful.
playing.
But
Yeah,
he kept going on about the history. Yeah, Bayern used to be great,
yeah.
but they weren't last year. They were terrible. So you went out to a terrible team with a
Mm,
good history.
mhm.
You didn't go out to the Bayern that won the Champions League with Robin and Ribery. You didn't go out to them. You went out to the one with Sane, and that's who you went out to. So
Yeah.
he'll go on about the history of Madrid and how many Champions Leagues and all that, but this time he is coming up against a good Madrid, and I just don't see it. I don't see it. If we're gonna have that fucking Earthworm Jim, as you said, I call him fucking G.I. Marino because he looks like a fucking plastic action
Yeah,
doll.
no, yeah.
But he moves like one as well, actually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he'll have him up front. He won't play Tierney. Like with that team, if there was any hope of Tierney at all, I would have considered putting him in. But he won't play him. He'll probably play. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays Lewis Kelly, which again I think the chap is an absolute genius. He's going to be a world beater, but there is that risk that he'll lunge in or he'll say something or he'll do something. So that
Yeah.
I'm the same as you. I don't want him to lose that. We've been missing that sort of thing for far too long. It's what I love about him. I love that he got booked before he made his debut against City. When he was on the bench, he got booked before he. Like, that's going to be a pub quiz question in years to come. Name the player that got booked before he made his debut. Like, I mean, I fell in love with him then. I fell in love with him when he got booked before he made his debut. But it is a risk. And if he plays Calafiori, I'll just turn the telly off. You know what I mean? Because he would just get cooked, absolutely cooked. And
Yeah.
Vinny Jr., I think Timber. Now that I'm thinking about it, we do need Timber on him. We need Timber on him. But I don't see anything but a Madrid win. I think it's just more the manner we go about it.
Yeah. You put it greatly. The manner that we go about it, and that's what I wanted to see after this Dubai trip, because wasted another 1.2 million going to Dubai. It didn't even work last year because we didn't win anything. But what I was slyly hoping for is that at least we might come back and actually play well. That's what we did last year. We came back and we started to play a lot better, and that gave us the platform to go on and win games, especially when we haven't got a striker. We need to play faster. We need to play with more intensity. We need to get to the byline and cut it back. All of this crossing in with no one there is just, and this guy gets paid 50 million a year. And as you said earlier on, I think it was after 22, 23, he was talking like he wanted to leave. We didn't win a title. I feel like I've let everyone down. He's not saying them kind of things now. He's turned into a corporate man now. 15 million a year, that's 1.25 million a month before tax into your bank. He's still pinching himself. He can't believe where he's at. And this is why I've kind of gone off the ball with him, because he used to say the right things and now you're not. Now you're a corporate man. All of the things that you were supposed to have changed. And Aaron made a good point about the youngsters and some of the attitude about some of the players and stuff like that. Well, now we haven't got toxic players. We've just got soft players, if you know what I mean, right? And we still got these big wages. You've got Odegaard on 240 a week, Zinchenko on 150. Apparently, he was only on 20 grand at Man City. So what is he? So the reason why I'm mentioning all this, because my next question is: do you think that we've kind of lost our pull a little bit? Because I feel like we're overpaying these mediocre players. They've done nothing in the game to get this kind of money. Do you know what I mean? Kai Havertz, even Odegaard, 240. What's he done in the game? Martinelli, 180. Gabriel Jesus, 250,000. Do you know what I mean? So do you? So someone said that to me the other day. Well, maybe you're overpaying because you haven't got any pull anymore. We was cussing Liverpool for it. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, my bro?
I think you're spot on. I think we have no pull. I think, especially for attacking players. If I was an attacking player and Arteta was the manager, I wouldn't want to play under him. Why would I want to be brought into a team where your first job is to track back? Why would you want to do that as an attacking player? Do you think Isak's looking at Arsenal going, "Whoa, I can't wait to go there and track back for 90 minutes"? You know what I mean? He's not. We had massive pull with attacking players under Wenger because he let them off the rein and he said, "Go do what you do best. Go out there and attack." Maybe not so much then. It was the flip side. The defenders were like, "Well, I'm not going there. Just get left exposed all the time and I look crap." So there's got to be a happy medium. But no, why should we have a pull? You know what I mean? Players have short careers. They want to win something. You know what I mean? I get being a cult hero like Letizia at Southampton and stuff like that. I understand that. and I do understand it. But you know, there is no pull for the sheer reason that, for me, it's him. I think he's like, well, like my mate will be messaging me, and they don't just dislike Arteta. Like the people that don't support Arsenal now, right? The support other teams, they despise him because they think he's sleazy and they think he's, and players would see that. And if he went into a meeting, Aaron mentioned about losing the young players to United, he was given a chance to talk them around, and he didn't.
He didn't.
He didn't talk them around because he probably went in and said, don't get so big for your boots and don't want this and don't want that. I'll decide when you play. And they were thinking, well, United are telling me I'll get minutes. I'm going there. Yeah. People say it's about money. I don't think it is. I think, if you get offered 3 times what you're on, you're going to take it. There's no one in the world that would say no, And apparently, Obi Martin's parents were in his ear, that they wanted more money. So that wasn't his choice. He just wanted to play football, and Arteta should have come in and said, I'll play you in the League Cup, and I'll bring you on now and then.
Guarantee him something, yeah.
Guarantee him something, talk him round. Wenger used to, fly over to other countries to sign young players, and then he'd fly them over to the Emirates and he'd walk them around, he'd spend time and he'd show them, and they knew that they were going to play. They knew they were going to get minutes. They knew they were going to be played to their strengths as well. You couldn't see him turning around to Aaron Ramsey and saying, stop spreading the ball 50 yards. I don't like it. He'd go, keep doing that. You're good at it. You know what I mean? And so, for attacking players, I don't think we have the pull, and I don't blame them. Like I said earlier, if we had Salah this season, his numbers would be half what they are. They'd be half what they are.
Because
and people are saying he played full 90 minutes. I think it's bar 4 games or something like that. Again, he's not being forced to track back. And you mentioned, I think it was you that mentioned it about, he's not going to be taken off in that final, even though he's doing nothing, because he will do something. He normally will do something. Mm-hmm. And we take Nwaneri off all the time when we need a goal. And as soon as the camera pans to the bench and they go, Arsenal make the substitution, you just know the 53 is going to come up. Yeah. You know it's going to come up. And the thing is, he knows it while he's on the pitch. So he knows he's not going, I have 90 minutes to do something. He's going, I have 60 minutes to do something. So he's rushing things, and he's, you know what I mean? And players need to, like, when Jesus was coming back into the team around Christmas, I was talking, my missus is mad into football, so, and I was talking to, she loves Arsenal, I was talking to her about it, and I said, and with same with Sterling, these players need to be taken aside and told, you're going to get the next 4 games, right? Guaranteed, full 90 minutes. So just relax and go out and do, because they're so tense, and they know they're going to get hooked off after 60 minutes. Every time they know they're going to get hooked off. So, attacking players, they don't have a hope with Arteta. I mean, brilliant. Are you going to come in and go, are you going to be an understudy to Kai Havertz?
Why do you think Sesko isn't here yet?
And he's just Havertz 2.0.
No. Not that I want him. I've said it a million times over, Shane. I do not want this guy. I don't want a project player. I've watched him a couple of times. I watched him when Leipzig played Sporting Lisbon. Even the commentators I take Gyökeres. Do you know what I mean? Like it's obvious for everyone to see, except for this guy. But you made some great points there, and I was going to touch on this. This is why. I mean, I hope Aiden Heaven recovers. I didn't see it. I heard it was really bad. 18 bossing the game though. Do you know what I mean? At centre back. And who have we got when one of our centre backs go out? Kivior. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm trying to say. So you're absolutely right. These kids never had a way to the first team. Saka, Smith-Rowe saved his job. Nwaneri and Skelly saved his job this year. Do you know what I mean? And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at those players, and I'm like, do they even want to play for this guy anymore? Because you made some great points. These guys are human beings. Nwaneri knows he's going to come off. You've got Saliba and Gabriel working their bollocks off just to see Kai Havertz miss sitters up the upper end. That is going to affect them, in my opinion. That is really going to affect them. And I feel like we're putting so much pressure on the midfield and the defense because there's nothing up front, toothless. Do you know what I mean? And, you think they're watching it, you've got Gabriel celebrating every time he makes a defensive challenge or a clearance, and then you kick it up the other end. And even Martinelli for the offside goal, he's right in front of goal, and you're kicking off for a throw-on. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, what's happened to these guys? And I look at them and I think they're only human. They're probably going to look at this idiot for a manager and think, I don't care what he's saying, because he does all this jumping around on the sideline. I don't know about you, but I don't see any changes on the pitch, bro. It's like they don't listen to him. I don't know what you're. I mean, so yeah, not only do we not have no pool, I'm starting to look at these players, and I think they look at him and think, look at this idiot, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like he's trying to jump on their back, and I'm like, he doesn't strike me as a man manager. He doesn't. He really doesn't. And as you were saying, is he going to pull them aside and say, look, don't worry, you're going to play this, that, and the third. All the good things that someone like a Klopp would have done or a Wenger. He doesn't strike me like. He doesn't strike me like that at all. And I'm starting to really feel like maybe the players are not. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on it. Maybe they're not listening to him as much. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that he is so obsessed with stats and numbers, and this thing, and he always goes on, we created many situations. It's something that drives me around a bend. He always says in press conference, we created many situations. We made these situations. What situations? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's just a nonsense term he uses to cover up. We created many situations. It makes no sense. And you talk about that Martinelli chance, like the forward snatch at chances because they don't get any clear cut chances, and when they do, they snatch at it. But he is so obsessed with numbers and stats, and I was saying this on, I think it was Aaron's channel, that Trossard, I'd say if he takes a player on 3 or 4 times, right, and he loses it more than he beats him, he'll have that thrown at him then the next day in training, because he'll have the numbers. We go, you took him on 3 times, you only created a situation once, or you only did this once or twice. There's no freedom at all in the way they play. There's zero freedom with the way they play, and you need to. Did you think that if Salah is having a game where he takes on 3 or 4 players and it doesn't work, and then it doesn't work the next time, that he's going, oh, I better not try it again. He's going, no, I'm going to try it again and again until it works, because that's what I'm good at. And you need to give these players freedom. You need to let them know that, even if you take on you listen to Gary Neville or any ex fullback, they'll say the worst thing is when a player keeps running at you, when a winger just runs at you. And Trossard will go down the wing, he'll beat the player, then turn back and play it short, because he's going, I need to have 90-something% pass success rate, or I'm getting,
Arteta,
next week.
Yeah.
Sport isn't robotic. It's not robotic. Like if you go into a boxing match and some lad's getting Muhammad Ali getting hammered for 12 rounds, but if he knocks him out, he wins. You don't still lose. You win. So you only have to get past that defender once and bend it in the top corner, and we're 1-0 up. We beat Everton 1-0 instead of drawing 0-0 at home. You need these players, and he has shackled them. He's absolutely shackled them. You were saying about watching the goals in 2022-23. We were electric for 75% of the season. And then he went, oh no, we need to stop that now. We need to lock up, and we need to defend, and we need to. Unbelievable. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. These, like you said, to get back to your point, these players are definitely, they don't know where they're coming or going with him as manager. They don't know what to do. They don't want to, get hauled off because they tried something new and it didn't work. This, and the funny thing is, this Odegaard little scoop over the defence that's worked once, I think, in his whole career, when he just better touches it over.
Yeah, I'm so sick of that.
Why is he not being stopped doing that? Why on earth isn't he not being stopped with it? It's never worked.
It's never worked. It's never. Yeah. Great points. And I feel like Arteta, right? And I've called him an enabler before, because I feel like this system, the way that he wants everything to work, like you said, he won't mind that Martinelli or Trossard's got past his man and then cut back just to keep hold of possession, because he seriously thinks, his tunnel vision, like, if we keep doing what we're doing, eventually it's going to work. So he's just going to keep trying to do it, smashing his head off the wall, claret everywhere. Do you know what I mean? But we're going to keep doing it because eventually it's going to work. And yeah, that's a great point, man. I actually think that Mikel Arteta is an enabler. And I've also heard that, if you do try and express yourself in this team, you're on the chopping board. Do you know what I mean? That's another thing that I've heard as well. So yeah, and I think not only just systems are killing the game, but I think Arteta's system is killing this club, killing this team. And I think even with the players that they've got, they're still good enough to get over the line. Even with these players, I think if we had a more competent coach, I mean, I'd like to know your thoughts on that. Do you feel like, is he like our Spanish Brendan Rodgers? Or do you feel like if someone else comes in, they're going to have to rip it all up again, bro?
No, not at all. Not at all. I always make this point to people that say, injuries and all this, and if we hadn't got this, we would have won the league. If you were able to go back, right, to the summer and just say we had the balls to get rid of Arteta, this is all hypothetical. If we had got rid of him, and we had gone, right, we'll get Slot in, and Liverpool had gone, look, we'll take Arteta. It's the exact same squad going into this season. We'd be ahead of them because, number one, Arteta would have gone into Liverpool. He would have said, right, Nunez, you're my main man. I'll play you every week because you're a donkey and you track back. Right, so he'd play every game, and he's awful, right, but he'd play him. Salah would have half the numbers that he has now because he'd be tracking back and he'd be burnt out. He'd probably have snapped his hamstring by now. You know, he would never have seen Gravenberch as a holding midfielder. Whereas if you flip it, Slot would have come into us. Say he just signed Chiesa and that's it, right? Saka wouldn't be injured. His numbers would be higher because he'd be saying, stay forward, do what you do best. Martinelli's numbers would be higher. Havertz wouldn't be playing. You know, so people say, oh, you know, he's been unlucky, he's been this. And then I go, well, what's the point in having a manager then? Any team, why would you have a manager? They have to make these decisions. So if we got a new manager tomorrow, he'd only need a few signings. He'd only need a couple of signings. He'd need to convince the likes of Party to stay, you know, and then make a couple of signings. He'd probably, if the Tierney's probably already put pen to paper on Celtic, I think he has, which is a shame because if any other manager came in, he'd be straight back in at left back. He's one of the best left backs around. Not just at us, he's one of the best left backs around. So I don't think that a manager now wouldn't need to rip it up at all. He'd need to sign a striker, a big striker, and start getting the best out of Martinelli and Saka again, which anyone could do. You just say, go out there and express yourself again.
Express yourself,
Start enjoying your football.
Shackled, yeah, exactly that, bro. And that's my thoughts exactly. I think he's like our Brendan Rodgers. He's only taken us to a, you know, everyone said, look where we were, what, eighth and fifth. Like, you know, look where we were. Like, people are really talking like we're down with Spurs and United and things like that, you know. And everyone was saying, you know, would you rather be like United with Erik ten Hag? Well, they won 2 trophies in the last couple of years, bro. So yeah, maybe I would like to be like that. Do you know what I mean? Because I've just done the bloody job at Wembley, and even working it 3 days before the game kicked off, I'm sitting there thinking we should be here. We should be here. You know, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the disrespect that this guy gives the cups. You know, there's only 4 things that you can win in the season. Why are you just going to disrespect 2 of them? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and that is the metric of football, isn't it? The success. You win something. You know, you're here to win trophies. So yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. You know, everyone gives this manager so much credit, so much leeway, and I just don't know why. I think any other competent manager will come in and they, you know, because the reason why I'm saying it is because when we get to this summer, right, we'll obviously talk about this before we close this war chest, right? Chelsea spent $1 billion last summer. Man City has spent our supposed war chest just in January gone. So when I hear war chest and then I hear 250, I'm like, what are you talking about? But then, taking off, you know, stripping all of that crap back, I then just think to myself, well, if we was to get someone competent like Slot, would they even need to come in and spend 250? I don't even think they would. I really don't. I think if we had someone that's competent that can actually get the extra 5 to 10% out of these players have shown us in the last 2 years that they should be good enough to get across the line, right? You know, so yeah, that's my thoughts on it, bro. I mean, hold on, let me get some of these comments just before we move on. Big up Gun Down UK, big yourself up, bro. Just got on my lunch break. Make sure everyone's subscribing to Shane Gooner as well. Big up BX. Gunner, business manager ASAP. Absolutely. AFC always says smash the likes up. Love each and every time. BX also says Arteta doesn't know anything about a striker, as if he's almost allergic to an actual number 9. Yeah, that's a great point as well. We were saying I don't think he can manage them. AFC always is saying we need about 7 players and 2 strikers. Now, possibly, I mean, this is what I want to get onto, possibly. But this is why I asked Shane about, do you think, you know, a new manager would have to come in and rip it all up? I personally don't think we do. If we stay with Arteta, then I do believe we're going to need left winger, striker, maybe a couple of cover positions. I think if we stay with Arteta, we probably will need like 6 to 7 players. I think if we get a new manager, we could probably get away with buying 3 to 4 players. You know, so I'd like to know your thoughts on that. I mean, who do you think could come in and take this team on, bro? And because everyone keeps saying, who would you get if Arteta was to ever leave? Like the whole club's just going to delete itself. I mean, who would you think could come in and take us over the line?
I think there's a list of people: Inzaghi, Allegri, Simeone. You know, if Ancelotti was to leave Madrid, which the rumours of, any proven winner, really, for me, any proven winner. You know, which Eddie Howe now is, funnily enough. You know,
God.
and Arteta, people say Arteta won the FA Cup, but to me, it starts to fade again if it goes long enough. You know,
Yeah.
a proven winner, it's recent, right? But um, there's an endless list of them, really. Like Alonso, and people say, oh, he could just be like Arteta, but the man went unbeaten, so he knows what he's doing. But I probably wouldn't go Alonso with that, because I want to go experience. I'd rather experience, right? But like you were saying with these players, like we know they can play. I've been piling on Odegaard lately, piling on him like everybody else, because he's not playing well enough.
Stop.
But if you remember him from 2 years ago, he was fantastic, right? He was fantastic. He was shooting, he was scoring big games. So he's just being shackled. He's doing this thing now where when Raya has the ball, he's coming all the way back to get it, because he doesn't want to, have the ball, in and around the box. But again, he has no runners. If he played at a team like Madrid, I know he was there and he didn't break through, but many a player hasn't broken through at Madrid and gone on to be good. But
Of
if
course.
he like Barcelona, then where he's got runners, non-stop runners, he'll find them.
Ah,
But when he's outside the box, he just has to go sideways. There's nobody, or else he does a stupid fucking scoop pass. But like that's like AFC saying there, we do need about 7 players, maybe more, because we're going to lose a load of players as well, and we're already short.
that's the
We're
thing.
already short, and he's going to get Nelson back on loan. A player, if you put a player out on loan that's past the age of 20, you're basically saying you're not
God.
good enough for me.
Yeah.
If you put an 18 or 19-year-old out, you go, fair enough, he's getting a bit of football. But these
Mm-hmm.
lads are in their mid-20s, Fabio Vieira and the like. And as much as Fabio Vieira didn't rip it up, we could have got him back
We could have got
from
him.
loan.
Exactly. Why did we not? That's another
Oh,
great question, Shane. Why?
narcissism, though. That's just pure narcissism. This is the most obvious thing to do. I'm not going to do it. And I think Fabio Vieira's had like 6 goal involvements in his last 4 games or something for Porto. He's not the best, but
No, but
it's better than having nobody.
Nobody. Exactly. That's what I was saying. And it's only this. It's only because we were so desperate, Shane, in January, that it's only this year that I found out that apparently you cannot call back a loan player outside of the transfer window. I never knew that. I thought if they're your player, you might pay a fee, like what you do on FIFA or whatnot, and then you get your player back when it comes. Like, look, even though I don't rate these guys, getting them back, we need bodies. It's like the team fought leprosy. They're dropping like flies. We do anything. Go and get a free player. He'd even refuse to do that. You telling me Diego Costa wouldn't have done the job for 20 minutes, half an hour? Like, come on, man. Like, so you're absolutely right. The narcissism, the level of stubbornness is just unreal. And like you said, I think a new manager maybe would need 3 to 4. If it's Arteta, yeah, we're looking 7, we're looking 8, purely because of the summer. And this is what I don't like as well, the PR that they spin, oh, we're getting rid of 5 players to help with our war chest. Well, hold on. Neto's alone, Sterling's alone, Jorginho, Tierney, and Partey are all going on free. So once again, we're in this situation where we're not making any money back for these players. Like, who runs our business? Ronald McDonald. It's there's a hole in the bucket, but in terms of making money, we're very good at it. What we do with that money, do you know what I mean? Absolute rubbish. So yeah, man. I mean, I know it might seem like a little bit of a downer, and we're just trying to be realistic. Like I said, most people of our age group, we've seen our team win stuff. We know what standards are a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And we want to try and uphold those standards. And we get called negative, and then you've got the top gooners. But at this point in time, Shane, I'm just trying to understand what makes them back this guy like this. I'm just sitting there, just absolutely baffled, my bro. And I just don't know. I don't know what we can do. I mean, what I would have preferred, bro, before I let you come back in, is because I don't think we've tried to win the Champions League, so I'm not really too fussed about it. What I wanted after the bye is for the team to come back and to show me that they cared. You know what I mean? To play in a way that leaves it all out on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And that's not what I've seen. So not only do I blame Arteta because I don't think he can motivate the players, but I'm looking at the players and I'm like, you're not trying hard enough. However, I am trying to put my top gooner hat on a little bit and just say, well, hold on. If this was a business and you needed 25 staff to run the building and we've turned up with 19, do you not think that we're not going to be working at optimum? Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on it. I mean, when I strip everything back, I'm starting to feel sorry. Even though I blame the players a little bit, I'm feeling more sorry for the players, and I'm feeling like it's Arteta and all of the people above that have really let this set of players down. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
100% right, 100% right. And on the whole, trying to get into the head of the top gooners and all that. I'm 43, man. I'm too fucking old to be living in a fantasy world. You know what I mean? I can't do that. Honestly, like, it's gone beyond a joke, and there is no talking to them because we've used the word cult a few times on this, and that's what a cult leader does. A cult leader will sort of separate the idiot minority and feed them a few little sound bites and just keep pumping it into them until it's like the Simpsons, na leader, you
Yeah,
pump it into them and they start repeating it and they start to believe it and then they get so invested in it that they go, I'm after handing everything over to this guy. He can't be wrong. He just can't be wrong because then if he's wrong, my whole belief system's gone. You know what I mean?
like religion.
So
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it. Like I openly admit that I wanted him gone after a year and a half. Then he convinced me in 22, 23, and I said, all right, he's the man. Let's go, Lego hair. I love you, man. And then, even started last season, I started to think, why are we locking up? We were doing it from the start of the season. We were so boring last season, and it wasn't until we lost the 2 games before Christmas and it looked like the league could be gone that he let them off the reins. And
exactly.
this Dubai nonsense. The only reason that we've been able to go to Dubai is because we're out about cups both years. You know what I mean? It's nothing to be celebrated. He's created this again, like one of his stats. Oh, the Dubai trip. Does any other team? Do you hear of any other
Yeah,
team what they do for
exactly.
training camp?
I was saying
What?
that. I was saying that Shane about Slot, and this is why I was saying he was so competent. He didn't have the luxury of having a mid-season holiday. He was in 4
No.
competitions. He had no backing, so he had to say, "Well, hold on, we've got the FA Cup and the Carabao. I'm in the final for one. I've got a million rounds in the other one, so I'm going to switch my team around against Plymouth." That for me just shows the competence of the guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, whereas
Yeah.
Arteta and Arsenal, and I even believe Shane, I even believe these players knew about that trip long before those games, bro. That's what I
Yeah.
believe. Because the
Yeah.
way they ccame out, especially against Man United, it's like, well, if we beat these guys, we might not get to go to Dubai. And I would have been telling them, listen, if you don't win this game, you're going Bognor Regis, bro. Like you'll be like go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they need right now about going. And I just think it's this kind of this enabling culture that Arteta's bringing. Like, I'm going to be the dictator. You will listen to everything I say, but if you do that, then I'm going to be enabling you to act however you want.
Yeah.
However you want. As you said, the most comfortable footballers in the world.
Mm.
And I think that's the kind of atmosphere that we need to get out of these players. I was saying to Abs when we played Newcastle, I said it's going to be in the winter, in the evening, fucking minus temperatures, under the lights. These guys are not going to be up for it. And what did we see? They got bopped off the pot at home.
Absolutely.
And this is, I think this is what we need to, that's the culture that we need to change. Stop looking at field tilt, stop looking at all these dumb stats, look with your eyes, take the shackles off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop suffocating the players with this system that's killing them, bro. It's killing them. I'm scared for Timber now. I don't know your thought. I'm scared for Timber now.
He's going down soon. He's going down soon. It's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. And people will say, "Oh, you can't account for injuries." We're not talking about Eduardo getting his leg snapped in half. All
Yeah,
right, we're not talking about Ramsey getting creamed against
yeah.
Stoke by Shawcross and having his leg in popping out of stock. We're not talking about that. We're talking about hamstring injury, which is literally the most common fatigue injury. You could put Mo Farah out there, but if you make him run for that length of time, his hamstring will go.
Great
Uh,
point.
Havertz's hamstring went in Dubai. Apparently, it was intense training. Why are you going there for intense training? Go to the heat, let their muscles relax. The guy is an absolute fraud. And people say, "Oh, suspensions." We already discussed that. That breeds down from the management's ill discipline, right? Injuries, they're all hamstring injuries. Everybody knew Saka was going to go down. Everybody knew it.
He's limping for a
He is
year.
he has
Yeah.
absolutely whipped that guy into the ground. He's destroyed him, right?
Mhm.
Martinelli, it was close to a tear, I heard. He was close to tearing it. These aren't, and it's not a hamstring tweak or a hamstring like rupture. It's a tear. They're tearing the thing in half, like
Yeah.
gone, right? So, I don't buy into the whole poor me, Arteta. He's had these injuries. He's brought all of them on. We all saw it coming. We all saw it coming.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody, and then you look at him and you go, why couldn't you see it coming? So I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. You can, like you said, with the top gooners, you can give them all the stats, or sorry, they'll give you all the stats and the most points in the calendar year and all the stuff we've gone through. I just say to them, just watch the next game. Just
Yeah,
watch the game
just
from
watch.
start to finish. Try and watch it like a neutral and see how bad we are, how boring we are, how pragmatic and how devoid of ideas, and then come back to me. Don't tell me we won the most points in the calendar year because it means absolutely nothing. All right.
Absolutely.
Don't tell me we scored more goals in the calendar year because that means nothing. Because there was 5 or 6 games where we didn't score,
Didn't
right,
score.
at all.
Absolutely.
Games we
They don't
drew and lost.
and they don't
The
mention them.
results that mattered. Of course they don't mention that.
Yeah.
Don't give me this beating or not losing against the big 6 thing, because to me, United, Tottenham, and Chelsea aren't big 6.
No.
They're not. What about the top 6? What about the teams in the top 6? Not the teams that are apparently big 6. I mean, we're talking about Tottenham and United, 2 teams that have fallen off the cliff. Oh, we haven't lost to them in a while. No, there's probably loads of teams I could say.
United still knocked us out of the cup, though, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly, with 10 men. You know, so
unbelievable.
Yeah, the injuries and stuff I don't buy into, and we're trying to convince the Arteta fanboys that we're in a bad way. I've kind of given up on it.
Yeah.
There's no point.
And some people seem to think that if you're negative, like you should just have blind faith. I always say, if you love something, you let it go, innit? I love my children. You think I'm going to say, well done for participating? I'm going to say, all right, cool. You didn't win. What are you going to do better next year? That's the kind of person I am. So I agree. I don't ever want to go into any game with a defeatist mentality. But that's the reason I gave up my ticket in 2008, because even from then, even from the Wenger days, and you got to admit, Wenger was buying 57 million for Aubameyang. When's the last time we had a signing like that? And I was complaining then, like, why are we never in for the world-class players? We've moved from Highbury to the Emirates to compete. We're not competing, we're just here to make money. So yeah, man, very, very annoying. I mean, obviously, especially for this season. And like I said, the goalposts have moved a little bit. Now them same top gooners have gone from he has to win this year or he's going to, well, let's try again next year. And as Patrice Evra said, Netflix FC, next year. I'm not with it. I am not with it. I'm not with it. How come we close it out? Because I think you've been cooking today. Let me get a couple of these comments. We're definitely going to do this again. Big up BX Gunner. He's saying everyone has been saying Saka was going down hard for years already, and just like that, they all went down due to terrible player management. Yep, that's very true. Very, very true. And also, just before I go on to the other comments, because Dan Potts and Curtis Shaw was discussing this yesterday, right? And Curtis said to the chat, would you play Saka? Yeah, because they're talking about Saka's already on grass kicking a ball. They're talking that he's very much going to be on the bench for the Madrid game, right? So the question was, because I don't want to see him kick a ball again this season, right? But the question was, would you, if we could guarantee the Champions League, but Saka came back and got injured, what would you do?
No, I wouldn't take it. I don't want his health is more important than if that lad should be rested for the rest of the season, regardless of anything we do, for what he's given us. I know Arteta's mind won't work that way, because he'll go, whatever makes me look better. I don't care if you break your leg, but no, he should be rested for the rest of the season, unless he is 100%, and unless every single medic that works with him comes out and goes, no, look, he's fine. Even then, I'd ease him back in. I'd go out to Madrid every day of the week if it meant him not being destroyed, because I want him at his best if and when Arteta's finally gone. So, no, I would not take the Champions League over the Chapel, not in any way, shape or form.
Someone with logical thinking, because there was a million people in the chat talking about, give me the Champions League. Even Dan Potts was like, I'm so desperate. And I can't blame him, because this is the situation that the club put us in, And as people have been saying in the chat, this guy's been doing Limp Bizkit for a whole year before he actually went down. He's looked very stiff. He's looked very robotic. He's not been playing the same. So now I'm with you, Shane. There's no way that I even want to see this guy kicking the ball. If that means that we get thumped 7-0, I don't care. I don't expect us to go through. People call me negative.
At his best, we'd probably go out anyway. So
exactly. I mean, the people forget after 13 games, still 9 points behind Liverpool. We've not been first place, not once this season. Man United, Man United has been there for a day. We haven't. People think this is a title race. Absolutely ridiculous. Big up BX Gunner saying, I highly doubt Arteta could win the championship, let alone the Prem. Well, that's another thing that people have been saying. Big up Nathan, our resident top goon. I hope you're well today, bro. Yeah, I hope you're not still feeling upset from your little timeout last time, bro. But big yourself up. Look, he's talking about the whole Munich thing. Big up Nathan, man. I try to understand it, bro. I try to understand it. Me and him have back and forwards every stream. I try and understand it, man. But big up E Ross as well. Jesus, I didn't even know you was there, my bro. Big up E Ross, man. Each and every time. Listen, 8 people in the building. Make sure that you go over and subscribe to Shane Gooner right now. New on YouTube. definitely talking the same thing I am. So if you mess with me, make sure you go and show love over their community settings. How we gonna round it out? Because we've been flowing, man. Nearly an hour and 40, and it ain't even felt like. But yeah, man, this is your Under the Lens. I mean, what's your message? I'd say to the Arsenal faithful, toxic or positive. You know, what's your message to everyone going forward? What would you like to see happening? You know, what's your kind of like synopsis on everything Arsenal at the moment?
I suppose it would just be, you know, open your eyes. Obviously, support the club the way we always do. You know, there are club people that don't follow football don't understand that you why don't you support? I mean, it doesn't work that way. You follow the through thick and thin. But yeah, I think it would just be open your eyes and see that no matter what happens this season, we've gone backwards, massively backwards, and it's only going to be a slippery slope going forward. You know, the fact that we're looking at it going, oh, with Arteta, we need 7 or 8 players. Without him, we need 3. I mean, that alone is enough to say that he's not the right man for the job. You know, if you're thinking, oh, he needs extra players and he needs this and he needs that. You only have to look at the players he lets go, the players he lets the contract run down. We can say that's the board and that's this and that, but he's turning around, and we could have got money for Tierney and Zinchenko in December, but we were so short, left so short again that we couldn't. The fact that Tierney's going alone is criminal in my eyes. Never mind going for free. The fact that he's not playing every week. The fact that Partey's played at right back, like you said, it worked once, and he just keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. And you know, as we all know, that's the clearest sign of insanity, to keep doing something and it doesn't work. What he's done, like I said, the fanboys can come with all their stats and the calendar year nonsense and all that. Just watch a game. Watch one of the games. Take your pick. You know, take your pick and watch one of the games and just try and figure out what his plan is, because he doesn't know. You know, so we're only going one way. But like, as I've said on Aaron's channel before, we're football fans and we're Arsenal fans, like first and foremost. And when the Champions League music kicks in against Madrid, my head will start going, you know what, maybe if we nick a goal, come on, the Arsenal, we're going to fucking do it. Arteta's a genius, and you know what I mean? And it'll go, and I'll start to believe, because that's what we do. But
dopamine.
Look, you never know what can happen. But just let's get this season over with, and just pray that Burke is going to come in and take proper charge of this club.
Brilliant. No, I'm totally with you, man. And we're only human, man. That was probably the best thing you said. When that music starts going, just like last season when I saw that Premiership at the Emirates, I was like, oh, I know we ain't going to win it, but when you see it, you start to believe. You start to believe, you know. So, but yeah, now this has been brilliant. Give me one. So I'm just going to go through the last couple of comments. Big up Nathan, channel moving. Yeah. What, you still upset with me? Big up Eros. He's saying big up Shane and Views in the chat. Hit the likes, people. Sub to both Shane and Views. Absolutely. There's 8 people in there. I expect to see 8 new subs on Shane's channel. Big up Nathan again. Time me out for saying I've had a brilliant time following the club. No. Let's have it right, bro. You was doing dirty dancing. I've had the time of my life under Arteta. No way. Listen, you can call me names. You know, me and you can go back and forward all day. I'm never going to time you out. When you say something like that, though, you need to go on Google, check out the a few years under Wenger, a few years under Graham. Yeah, just go and do your homework a little bit, because there's no way I can let that stand, the time of your life under Arteta. I'm sorry, bro. That's one that I cannot let stand, and that was the reason you got timed out. But make sure you go and subscribe to Shane as well. Big up Nathan. AFC always, sub to Shane Guna. Big yourself up, AFC. Thank you for that. Big up E Ross. Big up Nathan. Big up Box Guna. I think he's just shared your channel link in the chat as well, so make sure everyone goes to click that. Nathan said he has. Big up, man. So I've really enjoyed this. We'll definitely get you back on again, my bro. This has been Under the Lens. Any last messages you want to give out to anyone?
Well, thanks for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like you said, get over to my page there and hit the subs. Like, quite regular with content, short and longer videos. But yeah, so hopefully, you have me on again, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's flown by, you know,
you know,
nearly 2 hours, and I could just let you cook for time. So no, I definitely appreciate you having you on, and thank you for coming on. Definitely do it again. Big up Gary, don't waste a tweet, saying good show. Thank you, my bro. Big up Eros again. Hit the likes and subscribe. Big up everyone, great chat. AFC said Wenger's last 5 years won 3 FA Cups in 4 years. Yep, finished runners up in the Prem, got us to a Europa League semi-final. Yeah, what has Arteta done for me lately? Great way to end it. Big up, don't waste a tweet. Thank you, everybody. We will be back again. Make sure you go and subscribe to Shane Gooner. And this has been Under the Lens, man. We'll see you again soon. Yeah, love everyone. Peace.